Welcome back. On this video, we're going to cover two twos. Let's start with the quote by Richard Rohr that you see on your screen. There are two halves in life, first half and second half. You cannot live the second half of life using the tools of the first half. You need a new toolkit. All right, so what does that mean? Now, I break up life basically into three as far as retirement are concerned, but I use the first two halves as one, the first two thirds as one. Why? Because the first 30 years of our life, we're just figuring stuff out, right? We're just in a position of trying to survive. But we're surviving a lot of trauma that we had when we were younger. And therefore, when we don't learn the emotional intelligence, social skills, and coping skills in a healthy manner, our next 30 years aren't any better, and we continue repeating the generational problems that have persisted with us forever. Therefore, what are the second half of life tools that we're talking about? So, in this system that we're teaching, the How Not to Retire workbook and on demand course, there are many emotional intelligence skills that we're going to be sharing with you. One of them is to pre-plan. The other is how to communicate. The other is how to deal with conflict instead of going into contention. What does collusion mean? What are the 5 tenets of emotional intelligence, from being aware of what's going on to regulating our behavior to learning how to be a lifelong learner instead of a self-help junkie, understanding empathy, which is highly misunderstood, and ultimately having a relationship based on mutual trust and respect called interpersonal relationships. Okay, so the idea is, let's make this retirement segment our second half of life as a bonus half of life. It's our best yet. We're the protagonist in a movie that we're writing, producing, and directing. You have this opportunity to make changes, to do things you've never done before, to have the kinds of relationships you were never taught to have before. It's always easier to go deeper, and it's always better to, if you made a mistake, to do the retake. So first half of life, you've had it. It's really important that you don't continue with the same skill set in the first half of life all the way through the end, because the end will come much quicker. Aging, as you know, is the aggressive avoidance of discomfort. Learning something new can be uncomfortable, but boy, is it rewarding. Okay, and the second part of this little video here is on the aspects of retirement. So there are two aspects of retirement. Number one is having sufficient money. Okay, that's what the financial planner is supposed to do, right? He's supposed to keep you into that position where you have enough money. That's actually the easy part. 2 + 2 = 4. Put a proper model together based on a principle and get a full scope planning going on instead of the limited scope where they only see one solution for every problem out there. In other words, they have maybe an annuity and they're a hammer. Therefore, you've become the nail because every problem you have, that annuity is going to solve it. That's not what we're talking about. But in this video, we're just explaining having enough money is the first part. But number two, that's the important part. This is what really matters. And that is the ability to transition from the accumulation phase to the distribution phase during what's called intentional living. So pre-planning moving forward is intentional. What do I want my days to look like? What do I want my weeks, months, and years to look like? If I know why I'm getting up, my purpose, and I know who I am, which gives me said purpose, aging is slowed down, even interrupted. When I don't know my identity, when I don't know my purpose, when I don't have a structure for the day, when I'm becoming bored, and that's one of the big things that create aging within all people. And I mean, look at youth, for example. They're bored, and look what happens to them. They do things that just don't make any sense to anyone, including themselves. But when we're intentional, we now live our second half of life because we focused on the things that mattered most, and we did it in the right order. So let's keep going. We're going to start using our workbook pretty soon because we want you to start answering some questions. So if you haven't downloaded it, make sure you find that link, download the workbook so we can start filling in the answers moving forward. And I'll catch you on that next video.